when you're setting your goals, think about what you want, right? Like, dream big, allow yourself to dream, right? So I find a lot of times people get caught up in, first of all, we don't really want to look at what's going on in our life, what's working, what's not. It can be kind of scary to admit that to ourselves.
Yeah.
But once you do that, then a lot of times we don't allow ourselves to dream big. So allowing ourselves to really like shoot for the, swing for the fences, like dream as big as you can. And then I help you break that down into seasons and phases so you can really start working toward it. But it's about the essence of the goal rather than the goal itself.
So grateful you're here to tune in to the Amberly Lago Show, because I have a very special guest for you today. If you are feeling stuck, if you are going through challenges, if you are unhappy in your job, and if you're ready to make more money, get your notepad and pen, because I have the guest for you who's going to share her methodology on how she has overcome challenges and made a lot of money. Dana, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Amberly. I'm so happy to be here.
Well, I'm so happy to have you here. And I just want to say, Dana has been a good friend of mine for years, and she flew out to Dallas to be on the show. And I am forever grateful for you, because right when I started, in the very beginning, when I was trying to share my story and I wanted to inspire people, you really hooked me up, and you were working with big companies. I mean, you've worked with companies like Apple, Mattel, like huge, the biggest companies out there, to help them monetize and learn how to brand. I mean, huge companies, like, and I'm just naming a couple. I know you've worked with a lot of them. And you were working with one company, and they were doing a interview, like a whole...
like a women's empowerment series. Of events,
And you let me be a part of that. And I will never forget, the website came up, and it was like, here it is. And it was the first time ever that I posted a picture of myself on social media. And I don't think I've ever told you this, but you're the reason why I did that. And you really helped me, like, spur along that, like, Amberly, go share your story, go do this. And it's because of you and doing that event that meant the world to me, and it's led me to where I am now. And I love seeing all that you have done. And also, I didn't even know all the challenges that you have been through, that you've overcome, and what has led you here today. And then I get live the life of your dreams. I get this in the mail, and I'm like, who sent me this awesome calendar? Because I'm the kind of person that I like to write everything down.
Same.
I need
pen and paper.
Yeah.
There's something great about it.
I really need that. So I want to know, like, there are a lot of people out there struggling. First of all, tell us where you were and what led you to where you are now, because people are like, why would you leave a job working for Mattel or Apple or all these things? And how did it lead you to where you are now?
No, thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here. And, one of the things that I like to do is push people outside of their comfort zones and help them make the leaps that they really want to make in life. And so I was so honored to invite you into that space and to help you shine your light. Because
you pushed me out of my comfort zone. And let me tell you,
everybody needed to see this. Everybody needs to see this.
You did that, and you do that for people. And I will just tell you real quick, I remember I had to post a picture promoting the event, and it was the first picture I'd ever posted of myself, and I remember where I was. I was in bed with my daughter, and I pulled the covers up over my head because I was like, oh my gosh, people are going to see my face. But we need people like you who are there to support and encourage and push out of your comfort zone. And you've done that so well.
Thank you.
But you've also completely reinvented what you do. And I know there's a lot of people that they want to be able to do that. Where should they start?
Yeah, so like you said, I spent 20 years in corporate America working internationally. I worked at Apple and Disney, Mattel and Activision, and I loved it. So I was in marketing and product management, program management, innovations, basically helping these companies make billions of dollars. And there were parts of it that I loved, and also there were parts of it that burnt me out. And I think a lot of us have been to those places where, we just push and push and push, and you hit a wall. And so that happened to me.
So were you burnt out?
Yeah. So I loved my job. I loved my team. But I was a chief marketing officer of a luxury day spa brand in California with 11 locations, $100 million brand.
I remember when you were with that brand.
Yeah, and so we went through the pandemic. So luxury, service-based, discretionary income kind of product in the middle of a pandemic when you can't see people, you can't touch them, you can't be next to them. And so it was my job to maintain that brand and to save 1,500 people's jobs and to continue making money throughout the pandemic. And you know what? We did it. So we pivoted to spa home kits. We sent people packages where they could have the senses and the smells as if they were in the spa.
So you came up with that?
Yeah, taught people how to make steam rooms in their showers and all different kinds of things. Wow. And we were able to maintain 70% of our members. We came back better than ever. Demand was high, and we saved the company. And so it was really incredible, but also I needed a break. And
you were working your butt off.
Yeah.
I remember talking with you when you came to ask me to speak to this one company and how much you did for them.
Yeah.
And then I also remember when you were working with this other company that's huge.
Yeah.
And coming and talking to me about things about that.
Yeah.
So I can imagine with all that you were doing how it would be easy to get burnt out.
Yeah.
And I know there are a lot of people that are burnt out right now.
Totally. And and it's sometimes we don't listen to the whispers, right? And so we don't see the signs and the writing on the wall. But I knew I needed a break, and so I took one, and I went on vacation. And normally I would go to Australia because Australia's a home away from home for me, and the borders were closed, so I couldn't go to Australia. So I had to find another place to go, and I was craving sunshine and beaches, and so I ended up in Turks and Caicos. And I ended up there because it reminded me the most of Australia, just the crystal clear water and the white sand beaches. And I got there, and on day 2, I had this big realization that it was I feel like I'm doing life wrong.
Really?
I have set all these goals. I've been at these amazing companies. I got to the C-suite. I wasn't really making what I should have been. I was underpaid, but still it was great. And I loved what I did. I loved my teams. But I got here and I was I saw these people in Turks really living their lives and living their joy, and the joy just radiated from inside through their faces, and their faces.
Are you serious?
Oh my God, the most beautiful smiles you've ever seen in your whole entire life. And I was something's wrong. I keep achieving, and I keep getting to the next level, and I keep making all this money, and I keep making the money for the companies and all these different things, but I'm not living the life that I want to be living.
Yeah.
And so I had this realization, and then what did I do? I went back to my normal life because it was easy and it was safe and it was enough, right? And then my whole life fell apart months later. I had a very devastating and traumatic miscarriage that was excruciatingly painful in every way. 5 weeks after that.
I'm so sorry, and I didn't know
you.
that. I didn't know that. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
And I'm so sorry. We had lost contacts between that time.
Yeah.
And I am so sorry. I didn't know that.
Thank you. Yeah, it was rough. And then 5 weeks later, I unexpectedly lost my job.
Oh.
So in the midst of grieving for this baby that I wanted, then I lost my career that I loved and my team that I loved. And, you know, it was such a big part of my life because I'm very, as you know, very passionate about what I do.
Yeah.
And then months after that, I was diagnosed with a very severe heart condition. And they told me to sit still, to stop working out. And you know me, like I'm a dancer and I'm a hiker. And I was like, what do you mean I can't move? And they were just like, just wait, we have to run more tests. And if this symptom happens for 20 seconds, you have to go straight to the emergency room in an ambulance. You're not allowed to drive yourself because we might have to shock you back to life. Oh. And I was like, what is happening? You know?
Like your whole life.
My whole life. Personally, professionally, like, you know, I lost a baby, I lost my job, and you're telling me I might lose my life? I'm 39 years old. Like, it was such an eye-opening experience, and I just felt like everything had flatlined. And from there, I was like, okay, you know how, and I know your story, and I know how much you've been through and how much trauma and hardship you've been through, and you know how when you're going through it, things get really clear about what's most important. And I was like, I am going to rebuild my life in the way that I should have built it from the beginning. I am going to rebuild my life in the way that I want to be living it. I don't want to be in someone else's movie script. I don't want to be just achieving and getting to the next level and getting the next thing, but like I want to live for me.
Yeah.
And so within a year after all that happened, I decided to move to Turks and Caicos, which is where I live now.
Which is wild.
Amazing.
Which is wild to me.
It's beautiful. Yeah, incredible and amazing. So I moved to Turks and Caicos. I started this business. I ended a relationship that wasn't serving me. And I'm living the life of my dreams. Truly.
And I am just blown away. And there are so many people that are on autopilot that are, they go, oh my God, what am I doing? What is the point of this? And by the way, when you said you saw the joy in people's eyes, I'm writing my next book. It's called Joy Through the Journey.
I didn't notice.
Yeah. My next book is called Joy Through the Journey.
Yes.
And it was actually a friend of mine. His name is John Gordon. He's written 30 books. He's amazing. He was one of the speakers at my event. He is amazing. And I think it was after our conversation, I think it was after I talked to him, maybe it was the podcast interview I did for his show. He was like, Amberly, I'm really good at coming up with names for books, and your next book is Joy Through the Journey, because you talk a lot about joy.
Yes.
And I think that joy is a lot of what people are missing.
It's so true. It's so true. And you're right. Like we go on autopilot and, you know, we're setting these goals and we're achieving them and we're getting there and we're like, wait, this isn't what I wanted.
Yeah, but what the heck is this? What's going on?
Right? This was supposed to look different. It was supposed to feel different when I got there. And so, you know, from that place of devastation, first of all, I hung on to my joy. So
how did you do that?
Really getting clear about making a list, like forcing myself to sit down and make a list of all the things that bring me joy, from like a tiny little like smirk of a smile all the way through to like deep soulful joy. And it's like the simplest things. How does somebody
go about doing that when they're like, I want more joy in my life? Because I know you've got a methodology that's going to help people make money and all that. We'll make sure we include that in the show notes. But for somebody that's going, dang it, man, I'm struggling. It's hard. I'm in pain every day. How do I work on building my joy? What would you say?
Joy feels so far away in that moment, right? Like it feels completely inaccessible. It feels like it's impossible. But really it's about, I know you're big on gratitude practices and I love gratitude. But also, like, and I'm so glad that you're leaning into joy as well, because it's like you can be super grateful and also really sad. and you can be sad and joyful at the same time, and you can hold those two things simultaneously.
Yeah.
And I think one of the first steps is to not judge your joy when you're in that space, to actually acknowledge it and to say, you know what, that brightened my day. And it's okay that I'm in a space of grieving and I'm in a space of healing. And I just made the most beautiful cup of coffee that I've ever had in my whole entire life. And it just brought a smile to my face. Or this person called me, or there's a flower, or I, see a color, or the sky is blue today, or whatever that, and like those things that just light you up.
Yeah.
And knowing yourself, really
Yeah.
knowing yourself and paying attention as you go through life of saying, you know what, it's the who, what, when, and where. Who are the people that bring me joy, that I always feel like myself around, and that can always like lift my spirits?
Like you.
Like you.
Like you, seriously, like
Thank you. What are the things that I can bring into my life, whether it's coffee or the ocean might be aware, that might be a place. And when might be a time of year, a season, or a time of day, right? And so it's about understanding what all of those anchors are that you can anchor back into your joy and really noticing them. And the thing is, just like gratitude, the more you notice the things that bring you joy, the more those things build and the more you see that in your life. And then if you can combine them, for me, it's like, sunshine and ocean and people that I love. And if I can combine those three things, like I am just happy. Dancing also, moving my body.
Yeah.
But knowing those things about yourself, but I think a big thing is when you're in a grieving space and it feels like impossible, joy feels like a million miles away, to really just allow yourself to have small moments of happiness and joy that you can grab onto and then you can build from.
Oh, that is so beautiful. Yeah. Well, I want to talk about your methodology. Could you take us a little bit, and I know we'll put the link in the show notes for people to grab it, and you've even offered an amazing discount to the Amberly Lago Show listeners. But can you walk us through some of that methodology?
Definitely. So this methodology was really born from all of my experience. So I pulled from human interface design at Apple and creative brainstorming at Mattel. And when I was at Disney, I learned software development methodologies. And so I took pieces from all of this and I created a system for goal setting.
Yeah.
And so it's called Creative Life Design. And the reason why I created this system was that I found that...
And I should just put this here.
Oh, yeah.
Let me just put this here.
Yes. I found
hopefully
that
it won't fall over.
There are essentially, in the goal setting kind of spaces, I feel like there are kind of two extremes that are out there. There's one side that's really rigid and corporate, and it's OKRs, and it's SMART goals, and it's specific and actionable, and you set the goal, and then you break it down, you go after it, right? And then on the opposite side, there is, the spirituality side and esoteric, and it's all about manifesting, and, you're practicing like the art of detachment. It's beautiful. Imagine your dream and your goal, floating away on a cloud, and I love it, but now what do I do, right? So it's I did that, yay, but how do I actually move forward and achieve what I want to achieve? And so I created this system where you go through reflections, you look at your highlights and happiness, you look at things that were challenging and lowlights, you uncover patterns, and then you set a different kind of goal. And this system is really flexible. It's like a fluid structure. So I used to do martial arts, and one of my favorite quotes is that the bamboo that bends is stronger than the oak that resists. And so if you have a really rigid structure of your goal setting, SMART goals are great and they work for some people in certain circumstances, but sometimes they're too rigid. And they don't allow for the unpredictability in life.
Yeah.
And so often I would write these SMART goals, and if I didn't achieve it in exactly the way that I said I was going to, when I said I was going to, all of that kind of thing, then I would just use it as a tool to beat myself up and tell me that I failed, to tell myself that I failed, right?
Yeah.
And so it's I was like, there has to be a better way. There has to be a flexible approach to this. And so really my methodology has kind of three unique points to it. I mean, first of all, it works. So there's that, which is great. So I used it
and I'm just laughing here because I have all these notes of other things I was going to ask you. I'm so intrigued with everything that you're saying. I haven't even looked at my notes of the stuff I was going to ask you. I mean, this is so This is so good.
It's so great. And so it works. So I've had people that this woman was trying to lose weight for years. And within 6 weeks doing my program, working with me, she lost 25 pounds. And most importantly, she stopped all the negative self-talk and the shame spirals.
That's huge, because
Huge.
so much of it is whether, somebody's trying to lose weight or trying to make more money.
Yeah, start a
trying to
business.
start their business
Yeah.
or get ahead in their career or level up their business.
Yeah.
I think it starts with mindset, and
It
you need to have, it's not one thing to do, it's
Yeah.
a whole thing, mind, body,
Yes.
spirit
Yes.
to create.
And to have the right tools to help you.
Yeah.
And so really it's looking at your whole self. So often we look at personal goals different than we do professional goals. Like those are almost two different parts of life, right? Like in the personal space, you do vision boards and that kind of thing. And then in the professional space, you're like setting like sales targets and all of that. And really it's about looking at that together because it's your whole life, right? And so really looking at setting goals from a perspective, and I have a dream goal framework that I'll tell you about, which is, kind of a different option for you to set goals than the SMART goal framework. But it's really about blending that together, looking at seasonality. You have more energy, your body has more energy when it's summer, when we have more daylight hours than it does in the winter. If you are grieving something, if you have something going on in your personal life, you're going to show up to your professional life differently. And so this system is allowing for all of that.
Yeah.
So having that freedom and flexibility, and then also looking at the essence of your goals. So this is really important. When you're setting your goals, think about what you want, right? Like dream big, allow yourself to dream, right? So I find a lot of times people get caught up in, first of all, we don't really want to look at what's going on in our life, what's working, what's not. It can be kind of scary to admit that to ourselves.
Yeah.
But once you do that, then a lot of times we don't allow ourselves to dream big. So allowing ourselves to really like shoot for the, swing for the fences, like dream as big as you can. And then I help you break that down into seasons and phases so you can really start working toward it. But it's about the essence of the goal rather than the goal itself. So this is what I was saying is really important, which is that
God, this is so good.
It's so important.
It's so good. You're saying the essence of the goal, and this is my whole book, is the joy through the journey.
Yes.
It's so on
right
target.
there. We're just in the same space, Amberly. We're just singing from the same songbook.
Yeah.
Because let's say like you want to make $1 billion, and I'm like, yes, I am right here with you. You're going to make $1 billion, and like that's going to be amazing. But let's talk about why you want to make the $1 billion. What is it about having $1 billion that's meaningful to you? And asking yourself those questions, getting curious, asking why 5 times. Okay, so I want to make $1 billion. Why? Because I want to be rich. Why? Well, rich people exist in these spaces and they do these kinds of things. What is it about that that's enticing and interesting to you? Why is that important? And you get to something that's at the heart of the goal that's really more about probably freedom and flexibility and lifestyle than it is
I think,
about
what we all really want. More than anything is freedom. It's freedom.
It's freedom. And so, but if you're chasing the $1 billion goal in the SMART, measurable, actionable kind of framework, right? Like that's that framework. It's like, I'm going to reach $1 billion by this period of time. If that's what you're chasing, you might end up taking the wrong path to get there, finding yourself, you have $1 billion, but you lost everything else. You lost your relationships, you lost your family. You don't have the freedom and flexibility because now you're attached to the thing that made you the $1 billion. And so the thing that you really wanted was freedom and flexibility. The thing you thought you wanted was the $1 billion, and there might be a different way to achieve that.
Yeah.
Or you might make the $1 billion, but if you're staying connected to the freedom and flexibility, then you're going to make the $1 billion and hold on to that freedom and flexibility all along the way. And so when you're looking at the freedom and flexibility as the thing that you're wanting, write down that you want $1 billion. Absolutely, go toward that. Make sure that all along the way, you're chasing freedom and flexibility, and not just chasing it, but bringing that into your life today.
I like to say catching it. I don't even like to say chase. I say make sure you're catching it.
Yes.
Let's just catch it.
Yeah, and bring it into your life today.
Yeah.
So if I'm thinking about freedom and flexibility, from a gratitude perspective, I can look at all the ways that I already have freedom and flexibility in my life.
Yeah.
As a weird example, like my car broke down and I didn't have a car for a while. And I was like, I'm looking for abundance and freedom and flexibility and like all these things that all of us are searching for. And I get my car back and I was like, oh, freedom. My car is freedom because I'm not locked in my house. I'm not waiting for other people. And so seeing and admitting and seeing where all of those freedom and flexibility things are coming into your life already.
Yeah.
And then bringing more in while you're working toward chasing whatever it is and catching whatever it is that you're working toward. And so by keeping the essence of that goal at the center and at the heart of it, you really stay connected all along the way toward your goal. So you're not just waiting until you get there to have that thing, you're bringing it into your life today.
I love that. And that's one reason, like when I got my car, and I have a Tesla, which I've never been a car person, I've always been a truck person.
Yes.
But my daughter sold me on the freedom part of it. And how she sold me on it was she kept sending me these videos and writing up all the stuff on, this is going to help you go to point A to point B. You can put it in self-drive and you have the freedom because you don't have to use your foot to push the pedal. You've got, so.
Yes. Yes.
And I think
so you get it.
Yeah. I totally get it.
Because it's not, right? Like the Tesla's the way that you're finding that freedom, but also it opens up this whole other world for you to find freedom and flexibility in all different aspects of your life, and really helps you stay connected to that inspiration of why you wanted it in the first place. Because often, so many times we set the goal and then we're like chasing after the goal, like we're running, we're burning ourselves out to get there. And it's just like, why did I want this again? Like, what was I doing? And so in my system, so it's called the Dream Goal Framework, and it breaks down into desire first. So what do you desire? Allowing yourself to dream big and really be honest about that. So often we're like, okay, well, this is what I want, but I shouldn't want that.
Yeah.
That's my ego talking. That's this, that's that. No, if you have a desire, it's valid.
Yeah.
And by the way, by you having that desire, you have the mechanics for its fulfillment built within that desire for yourself. So desire is first.
Okay.
Second is what we've been talking about, which is radiance, joy, right? I love the word radiance because even when you say it, like like your face radiates. Like you can't say radiance without smiling. And so it's about what lights you up. What gives you that inner joy? What brings that light into your life? So desire, radiance, essence, which we talked a lot about. So really the heart of the goal, what's the essence of that thing that you want? Staying connected to that. The next one is adaptability. So that's huge. It's acknowledging that on the way toward that thing, whatever that thing is that you're searching for, whatever that thing is that you're working toward, life is going to happen. You're going to get knocked off course. You're going to have new information that comes in, and allowing yourself to change your goals based on new information that you have and based on your life. So often we're still attached to this dream that's no longer serving me, that goal, because I said I wrote it down and I said I was going to do it, and I feel like a failure if I don't.
Yeah.
But you know what? That was last year you. That's not this year you. This year you know something different.
So good.
This year you just went through a trauma. This year you just had a pandemic. This year, whatever it is, you're allowed to change your goals and your dreams along the way.
That is so good. Yeah, I love
that. And again,
that.
you might find, as you're focusing on that essence, you might find that the freedom and flexibility isn't down this path, it's down this path instead. I thought it was over there. I thought that this was the packaging that it was going to show up for me in. But actually what I'm realizing is that it's something else. And it's in a different package than what I expected it to be. And then the last one is meaningful. What's deeply meaningful to you, to spirituality, to the planet.
That's so important.
Meaning. So desire, radiance, essence, adaptable, meaningful, as a new way of setting goals and going after them.
I absolutely love that. Like, if there's one thing that you could leave the listeners with that they're struggling and they're like, oh my gosh, well, I've got big dreams, but I just don't know how to start.
Yeah.
What's the one thing I need to do just to start?
Yeah, start small. Just get curious about what brings you joy, because your purpose, it comes back to joy.
I love this.
It comes back to joy.
Can I just tell you, like, we were meant to do this together.
100%.
So we started talking because we were talking about collaborating for my event that I just had, the Unstoppable Life
Mastermind
Summit.
Yes.
It was amazing. Like, I'm still actually kind of recovering from doing it. It was amazing, but I'm just like, oh my gosh, I'm a little tired.
Yes.
But we were talking about it, and you reached out and said, I think I'd be great for your show. And I said, yeah, you know what? I think you would be great for my show. And now I think everything happens for a reason.
100%.
And
Absolutely.
you talk so much about, the essence of what you're doing and the life that you have built as a result from, you were working with these huge companies.
Yeah.
Like, when I first met you, huge companies, and now you're like, you know what? I'm going to do my own thing.
Yeah.
And now you're doing your own thing. You've created this very simplified methodology that people can apply into their life. How can people contact you? How can people, and you were also saying you were going to give a discount to people so tell us how to do that.
Yeah, you want me to share that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I can't wait to connect with all of you. I'm so happy to meet you and to be here. And we're friends of Amberly's together. So you can connect with me on my website. It's called thecreativelifedesign.com. My Instagram is @Dana J. Buchman, and we'll have the spelling in the show notes. But also, you get 50% discount on this planning journal that has the whole system in there. And if you want to connect with me directly, you can have a free 15-minute session. And so all those links will be in the show notes.
You're amazing.
You're amazing.
Thank you so much.
Thank
you
you
for sharing your wisdom, for sharing so much, and for flying into Dallas to be on the show. I love you.
I love you too. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you.
Hey, thank you for tuning in to the Amberly Lago Show. Make sure that you share it on your favorite platform. When I see that and you've tagged me, I always reshare it in my stories. And make sure to subscribe so you don't miss next week's episode. Okay, we'll see you next week. Thank you for tuning in.